Hello, this is Austin. I just want to give you a tour of our chicken coop and chicken run, which is also known as the Great Dust Bowl of 2024. If you have chickens, you know that it's very difficult to keep grass in their run. So we've been working on this chicken coop and run quite a bit just to protect them and give them some good entertainment. Pretty much complete with it. I mean, that's what I always say. Only thing that I want to do now is just add some blueberry bushes in there, and then should be done hopefully. So we have these cinnamon queen chickens. She's kind of tweaking out right now. We only have hens. We don't have roosters. We're in a suburban area. So this is one of the cinnamon queens here. They're about 4.5 months old. They started laying a couple weeks ago, so right at 4 months. And it's usually about pretty much an egg a day for them. So this is how I hold them. I usually just kind of act like I have food for them or play in the dirt a little bit to trick them, and then they get interested. And then I scoop them up. You can see a hawk's about to fly above us, so they're gonna freak out. But had a fish in its claws. But so I just scoop them up. We'll put one finger on each side, and then as long as you have, she's about to freak out now, but as long as you have control of their legs, then they're gonna feel secure and they're not gonna freak out like she just did from seeing that hawk. So you can keep them high and tight like you do a football, or you can kind of branch them out like that. But as long as they feel secure and you have their legs, then you should be able to hold on to them pretty easy. So I'll turn this camera around and then you can see the run. So our chicken run is a little over 30 feet by 40 feet at its longest and widest. So this is just an outdoor shed with lawn equipment and little chicken supplies, stuff like that. It does have an electric fence, as you can see here. I think it starts at 6 inches off the ground and then goes 8 inches up. And that's just because we have a lot of bears in our neighborhood. We have a forest behind us, as you can see maybe there, and there's a lot of black bears there. So we just keep the electric wire in there. And so this is the electric wire here, and then this is just the plug-in for the unit itself, the charger, and then you have the grounded cable there. So it goes underneath here, and then we have 3 grounding rods that are spaced 10 feet apart. We do have these motion sensor lights that turn on at night. They're solar powered, so anytime a predator comes around, hopefully those lights will scare them off. A little bit of protection that we've done for the chickens is we have this 1/2-inch hardwire cloth. This is a 6-foot roll, so a little bit over 6.5 feet is the inside of the chicken coop, so anyone under that can walk around comfortably. These boards are 6 inches, and then so it's a little bit underneath the ground, and then we have another board that goes down 14 inches. And then after that, I read that there's people who, instead of just digging down, they just dig out. So there's hardwire cloth that goes 2 feet out all around the run on all of the sides. So this is just some roosting spots for the girls when they're outside. We just tried to maximize the space so they can crawl around obviously underneath it, or they can jump up on there. That they never use their little ladder thing that I bought on Amazon, along with that little, I'll show you inside, but there's that little instrument form for them to play. They never use that. And in the mirror with bells, they kind of look at it sometimes. So this is more of the run. There's, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's wires. So one of them is connected to the ground and one is live. It's obviously not on right now. That way if something climbs on top of it, then they'll get a good shock as well. So these are fly catchers. I mean, they don't work all that great. I took out the bait earlier today. I'll have to put in some more. Usually I just use corn or droppings or something like that. These are the feeders that we have. They're just 5-gallon buckets, about 14 inches off the ground. There's quite a bit that drops on the ground, but it seems to work out well. Making some noise there. This is oyster shells and crushed egg shells for their calcium, so they lay eggs that are with thick shells. You can see their little garden salad here. So that has hardwire cloth. I'd recommend, or that's sorry, that is chicken wire. I'd recommend hardwire cloth just because the chicken wire, they can get in there, put their beaks in there and then pull it up by the root sometimes. So If you use this hardwire cloth, then they can just get from what's above the hardwire cloth. I did do double layer of the chicken wire. One is sufficient if you pull it tight enough to hold their weight, but I just doubled it because, so yeah, you can see they just pulled it up by the roots there, but I doubled it. That way they couldn't put their beaks in further. And so we have mullet on these three, and that is a little bit of mullet and some sunflower seeds. And it's 5 by 5. A couple of swings there that they don't really use all that much. And then some perches over there. And then so on the other side, through here, there is 2 feet of hardwire cloth that goes that way, and then 2 feet that goes down that way as well. So nothing can crawl underneath it. Got a couple latches here, more lights, and then obviously goes down there. Hey girls! So we have a couple of things hanging down here. That way, if you want, I have corn on there now, but you can put other vegetables for them to pick at. Keeps them busy, keeps them happy. I put a lot of weed. If anytime that we weed, anything that comes out of the yard, I'll just throw it in here. That way they can dig around. So they have leftovers from some flowers that we had, as well as some weeds that I just picked. So they like to dig through that and eat some of those weeds. So more swings. This is the xylophone that I was talking about there. They never use it. I don't think I've seen them peck at it once. I think it's probably more for the owners than it is for the chickens themselves. So I have this chicken coop door stays open during the day, and then I close it up each night when they are sleeping. I put hardwire cloth. I took out the plastic windows that it was in there and put hardwire cloth just for more airflow. And then there's a latch. You can see it. I put a couple more. These are just roofing panels, metal roofing panels from Home Depot, just to give them some extra protection from the sun. And then I guess when it rains, they give them that as well. So I have a clip up there. That's what keeps the door from swinging in on them. This is their grit. So it helps them digest, just little rocks that go in their stomach or their crop. This is the automatic watering system that they have. I turned the cup sideways, just kind of out of the way more because they were running into them and breaking them a little bit. But one mistake I did make, hey buddy, one mistake I did make is this was solid. I just had these things, these longer ones, solid all the way across, and these smaller pieces up on top to give them grip. They liked it better, but it would just collect droppings, and it was just a pain to keep clean. So I went and did this, and they get up it fine, so it works. So underneath their coop, I put cinder blocks. They're 8 inches. Hey, buddy. They are 8 inches. So we're in Florida, and it's July, and it's quite hot. So in the hotter parts of the day, they'll go under there and just sleep it out. I doubt there's anyone in there right now. See if you can have a look. Doesn't look like it. But that keeps them nice and cool. As you can see, she's taking a dirt bath. And then just to keep some circulation underneath there, I'll just put these fans that are powered by solar powered panels, and I'll just it just circulates air through there. So this is their nesting box. Haven't really found a good solution for it right now, just because they are rollaway boxes. Hey buddy. They're rollaway boxes, but they prefer the straw, and if you put straw in there for them to nest in, the egg doesn't roll down all that well. So these are just little privacy things that I put up for them. They seem to like it. I did try out a couple different nesting box options. So this is did have just their flakes, pine flakes, and this one is the black thing that came with the box. They don't really like that one. They prefer they just prefer, and this is a fake egg. They're all fake eggs. I took out all the real ones. They prefer the straw. added those options. So got a little thermometer in there. You can see it's pretty warm out right now. A lot of fans, and these are just hooked up to solar panels. I'll show you the roof here in a little bit. So that is obviously a light. It's all going through here, and I have hardwire cloth on the outside just so nothing can get in. If something does get in, hopefully it'll get caught in here. And those are all just USB hookups. I can show you. Yeah, USB Type-C, and then regular USB, and then a DC outlet if you want to charge a battery. I had put this chicken wire up there just because they were nesting up or roosting up there, and then they'd have their droppings go down on the other gulls below. I actually got 5 when they were younger. 5 were roosting up there all at one time. So, and all they just hook up to the roof there. Good. And then we did have tiered, and I'm not sure if you can hear the music, but there's music going on this old iPhone. It plays 24/7. Supposedly it calms them and entertains them, I guess, a little bit, and it keeps predators away because the predators hear the music and they associate it with humans. Cut those windows in and then put up the wiring just for more ventilation, and then those are all cut in as well. So I did have, it was tiered, I had 3 tiers, but they would all just go on the top one, and kind of got a little bit crowded. They hardly ever use those stairs there. Watering system they use quite a bit. That one unfortunately is not automated. And then I just put those little pipes up there just so they wouldn't jump up there. Then you have a couple fans going in. Have put these fans on the nesting box, and then I just tilt this one around to blow on them at night. It'll blow on the roosting bars there. And this is just a converted shed. And then this is the area that's all shaded in. So more access for them to go back there underneath the coop. More fans. And then you have the piping that comes down from the roof. Hey, buddy. And then I just put this chicken wire up just so they wouldn't fly up on their water gallon or their water container. And I don't want them to get their droppings in there. I just tried to create a little extra space there. Hey, buddy. That way it gives it more water pressure for it to come out quicker, and you can see they can use that space underneath there as well. And then I did put a small filter on the end of this pipe. Just did a little clamp around and tried to close up any holes with hardwire cloth. That way nothing can get in. You can see some wires coming in. And then you can see her going underneath there. Hey, buddy. I'm on top of the chicken coop and the run, so you can see a lot of solar panels here. So a lot of them for the fans, for the phone. That's for the chicken coop door. That is for the chicken coop light. Got some added vents on here for some ventilation. These are 4-inch pipes from Home Depot with some hardware cloth on them. I would have done, and it's just an elbow, but I would have got an extension piece to come out a little bit further here, just because if there's some hard side wind, some sprinkles do get into the coop, make things wet. So we got 3 on this side and then 4 on the other side. And then you have gutter system that I've made. This gutter just goes into the water system there. and it collects this roof and this roof, and then one on the other side collects from the other roof. And then you can see the run here, some of the electric fence on top of the run, along with some additional shade. And so that is the setup on top of the chicken coop. Let's go, girls. Let's go outside. Let's go.